Okay, she be going every single night. Day and night on my mind, pushing a cute vibe.
How's it going, everybody? This is Top Driver. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, it's time for another edition of Haulin Games. In this series, I talk about all the pickups that I got for all 4 of my PlayStation consoles throughout every month. And for this one, I'm going to be showing you all the games that I got throughout the month of September of 2022. So once again, I got another week off earlier this month to get to do another video game Hunterama. So this time I went to a few more different places. However, this time I went to a brand new location that week. Hiawatha is called Electric Town Video Games. I got a chance to go there for the very first time, and it had some pretty good stuff that I was able to find, and so it all led to this small collection right here. Obviously a little small, however, there are going to be some changes coming in regards to my future Haulin Games videos, so stay tuned at the very end in regards to that. However, let's just go ahead and get right into this month's collection. And we're going to start out with our PlayStation 1 games here. Only one racing game for the PS1, however, it's a pretty good one. This one is called Ridge Racer. This is actually the very first game that was released off of the Ridge Racer franchise, one of the most popular video game racing franchises of the early days of the PlayStation family of consoles, and this one's actually released all the way back in 1994. However, it wasn't released for the PS1 until a year later in 95 when they decided to add a port for the PS1 version of this game. And it was a pretty good one. Obviously, Ridge Racer always starts out in its roots, and obviously this was the very first one of the franchise, and it's pretty good to have this one. I already enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to playing more of this one. Then we got a couple of war games. The first one is Siberia. This is actually one that I've been looking at getting for the last couple of months. It's another futuristic war game in which you're in planes fighting against the enemy, and a lot of futuristic-esque stuff here in this game as well. So this is a pretty unique one. I'm happy to have this one. The next one I have is called C12 Final Resistance. This is probably one of the last true war games that were released for the PlayStation 1. This was released all the way back in 2002, and I knew very little of this game, other than that this is most likely during the apocalypse or a post-apocalyptic game, something like that. Almost like the video game Apocalypse that I got and completed a while back, so this is almost very similar to that. So I thought it was unique, thought I'd pick this up, and so we'll see how this one goes. The next one that I got on this list, though, this is the one that I've been looking at for months to try to get now. I'm very happy that I finally got it. It's almost similar to Metal Gear Solid, so I'm very happy to finally have it. This is called Spider-Man. Now, I already have the 2002 version of this game when it was the movie game. However, this is the one that I've really been trying to get for quite a while. I remember having this when I was a kid. However, I have not had it since, and I've been trying desperately to get the PS1 version of this game again, and I'm so happy that this time around, I was finally able to get it. And I literally just completed the whole game this week. I managed to complete the whole thing, and it was a really good game. I can see why the PS1 version of Spider-Man was a lot more popular than all the future Spider-Man games that will come out for the PlayStation family of consoles, and this was a very good game to have, and another one of those classics for at least the middle or late times of the PlayStation 1. So happy to finally have this one. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to playing this again in the future. After that, we have a couple more arcade style games. The first one is called Extreme Pinball. Now, I already have a couple of other pinball games, but this is basically similar to both of those as well, so there's nothing really special that comes out of this one. It's just another generic pinball game, but you know, I have it, and I'm looking forward to playing this. And the final one I have is called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and this one is the 2nd edition. Now, I mentioned that I already had the 3rd edition of this game, but this is the one that was more popular on the PlayStation 1, the 2nd version of this game, and so I felt like I was going to get this one at some point, and so I'm very happy that I finally have it. Again, it's with the late Regis Philbin, but this was another one of those game shows that were very popular back during the 2000s, and so I felt like I need to get the 2nd edition of this one because I knew this one was the more popular version, and so happy to have it, and hopefully this one is a lot better than the 3rd version. We're going to move on now to our PlayStation 2 games, and there were a couple here that I really want to get for a while that I'm happy to finally have, and also a couple very, very historic ones that I have here as well. The first one that I have here is called Juice. Now, this was a game that I actually had a while back, but I had no real instance of getting this game up until this month. It's almost similar to Need for Speed and, you know, Test Drive and all that stuff, so obviously I'm happy to have this again. I'm looking forward to playing this one. Next one is called Gadget Racers. Believe it or not, this is actually the sequel to Everywhere Road Trip that I got a little while back, and obviously it's very interesting that it is because I did not know that this game even existed until at least a year ago when I first got Everywhere Road Trip again. But hey, it's almost similar to this, you know, same characters, same cars, and all of that stuff, and a lot of crazy tech that goes into this game as well. So I'm willing to give this game a shot, and so hopefully this one is as good as Road Trip. Next game I got, this one I've been looking to get for a while now, ever since I got Road Rage. This is the Simpsons Hit and Run. Now, this is probably an upgrade to the Simpsons Road Rage, in which you play in the story mode as Homer Simpson, and obviously you're trying to save your town of Springfield from a whole bunch of other stuff, driving around and all that stuff. This is a very popular game for its time, and I wanted to get this one for a while. Happy to finally have this one. I'm looking forward to playing this more. The next one I have is called Spy Hunter 2. This was the sequel to the original Spy Hunter that was released back in 2001. Obviously, there's a little more to this one compared to the original Spy Hunter, but it's really just the same exact thing. So there's not really much of a difference in regards to this one compared to the original Spy Hunter, but I really wanted to get this one, and so when I saw this, I felt like that I needed to go get it, and so I'm happy that I finally have this one in my collection. Finally, two of perhaps the greatest video games of all time. I had no intention of even getting either of them prior to this month, but I have them right here. The first of the two is called Devil May Cry. This is the first game of the Devil May Cry franchise, released all the way back in 2001 by Capcom, and man, what a historic game this was for its time, especially in the anime scene. Really excited to actually have this one. I've already played small portions of it, but I'm looking forward to playing the whole game in the near future. The other one is called Katamari Damacy, and this is actually a rather bizarre game, to be honest with you. You're actually playing as this small guy on planet Earth that's trying to get all the stars back after it was extinguished by a massive eruption in outer space, and you have to roll over a whole bunch of things, so like chairs, cars, and even humans, and a whole bunch of random objects on Earth just to be able to create those stars. So it's a rather ironic and weird game, to be honest with you, but again, it's another one of those great video games for a reason, because of its unique creativity. And so to have this one in my collection, it's definitely also a huge boost. I'm happy to have this one, and hey, hopefully we're looking forward to playing this game more in the future, despite the randomness of this one. That's it for all the PS2 stuff. We're gonna go ahead and move on over to the PlayStation 3 games. Now, I didn't get too many of them, however, they were all games that I felt like I wanted to get for a little bit. Well, the first one I actually wanted to get was one that I've wanted to get for almost the last few months now, ever since, earlier this year. I'm happy to finally add this one in my collection. This is the third and final Max Payne game in the video game collection that was released for this franchise. This was released all the way back in 2012, and basically concludes the Max Payne series for now. So I wanted to get this one for a while, and so I'm very happy to finally have this one. The next one is called Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This was the fourth game in the Assassin's Creed franchise, released all the way back in 2013, and so I think if I'm right in saying this, I have at least the first 5 main games of the Assassin's Creed franchise, from the first one all the way to Syndicate, but I am looking to add a little bit more of those in my collection, so happy to have this one. And finally, the last one for my collection for this month is called Darksiders. This was released a little while back during the early days of the PlayStation 3, and it's almost like Kingdoms of Amalur and, Beowulf and stuff like that. It's one of those, like early prehistoric times games in which you're basically playing in those, like early BC days, and you're just fighting off with a whole bunch of, different weapons, stuff like that, and a whole lot of soldiers and knights in shining armor and all of that stuff. So it's almost very similar to that one. I really don't know too much otherwise about this game. I haven't even actually played this yet, but hopefully I get to do so at some point, and so really unique game that I felt like that I wanted to add to my collection. Finally, we will move on out now to our PlayStation 4 games. Now, I believe this is probably the most that I've had in the PS4 collection. Well, actually last month I managed to get 6 of them. However, there was one less here in this one, but there were also a few games on the PS4 side that I've wanted to get for a while, and so I'm happy to have those, and I'll show you exactly what they are. The first two is among them. The first one is Need for Speed. If I'm right in saying this, I think this was based off of the 2014 film Need for Speed, even though this was released a year later. I'm not so sure, I don't remember that, but I felt like that I needed to go ahead and get this one because this was another one from the Need for Speed franchise that I really wanted to add in my collection. So too with the next one called Need for Speed Payback. This one was released all the way back in 2017, and you know me, I love Need for Speed. The last one I played was Most Wanted, but those are games that I typically enjoy. Like I said before, Hot Pursuit, Underground, Most Wanted, Carbon. I don't really like Undercover that much, but these are the kinds of games that get me very excited to play the PlayStation, and to add more Need for Speed games to my collection, it's really good. I'm still hoping to get the original Need for Speed for the PS1, but it's very good to have some of the more recent ones. Couple of post-apocalyptic games in my collection. The first one is called Prey. This is almost similar to Alien Insurrection and all that stuff. You're basically fighting off these alien-like creatures and all that stuff and trying to save your world world as well. So there's a lot of similarity in this one in comparison to Alien Insurrection and Alien Trilogy games and all that stuff. So happy to have this one. The other one I have is called Extinction. And this is another one from the Colossal world as well. You're facing off against these huge monsters or something like that. You know, like these huge creatures that you're basically trying to destroy, try to save your city and your world, and ultimately, you know, become the hero of your city. I don't remember too much of Extinction either way, however, but this is about as much to my knowledge as I know in regards to that. So, but yeah, it's another one of those games like, you know, as I just mentioned earlier, Darksiders, that almost in comparison to those. And so, you know, those are not the kind of games that I usually play quite a bit, but, you know, like, it was still interesting to add to my collection either way. So I felt like I wanted to go ahead and get this one. And finally, the last one in my collection for this month, and this is another one that I've wanted to add for quite a while now, is called Horizon Zero Dawn, released all the way back in 2017. This game got rave reviews when it first came out that year. There was a lot of excitement and buzz about this one. Since then, there's been another Horizon game that was released. That was Horizon Forbidden West, which I believe that was last year for the PS4 and also the PlayStation 5, which I still want to get at some point. But this was still a very popular game for the PlayStation 4 during the early days of it when it came out during that time. I don't know too much of the plot, but I've read quite a bit of it. I've seen some of the gameplay of it, and this was a game that I felt like that I needed to get for quite some time now. I'm very happy that I finally got Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm hopeful to get the sequel Forbidden West as well once I get the PlayStation 5. Either way, very good to have this game in my collection, and I'm very excited to get to play this eventually. And that's going to do it for all the games I got for September 2022. Now, I did mention that there are going to be some changes in regards to my future Haulin Games videos. Well, first off, I am going to be cutting back on some of my video game spending. You know, there's a lot of other things that I have to worry about as well in regards to my finances. So I'm going to be cutting back from all of my spending here. I'm still going to get games, but chances are it's not going to be quite as much as I have gotten in all the past few months as well. So I am going to be cutting back maybe at least to $175 a month instead of the usual like $200 that I've been doing the last few months. And so obviously these collections are not going to be as big as they were this month and the last few months, unfortunately. But still, you know, I'm not going to give up on this hobby. I really enjoy being a video game collector, and despite the fact that I am going to be cutting back, I am looking forward to seeing exactly what the next few months bring in regards to collecting for the rest of 2022. Anyways, that's going to do it for another video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media, all the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another video. I hope you all are having another great day, and as always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.